The only thing that separates women of color from anyone else is opportunity. I ain't got nothing else to give. What do you want from me?
Complete the mission, you get time off your prison sentence. Fail the mission, you die. Senator Trucco, did you have Trisha Stanley murdered?
And the Tony Award goes to Viola Davis.
Viola Davis.
Viola Davis.
I became an artist, and thank God I did, because we are the only profession that celebrates what it means to live a life. When I raise my hand, I am aware of all the women who are still in silence.
All right. Wow. This is a lot. There are a lot of you. Well, good evening, everyone. Women in the World. I'm Joy Ann Reid, MSNBC host and author. It is my, thank you. That's cool. I'm on basic cable. I'm happy when anybody knows who I am. Thank you, Jesus. It is my great honor to introduce the magnificent, wonderful, amazing, incredible Viola Davis. Yes. Winner of the Triple Crown of Acting, the Oscar, the Emmy, and 2 Tonys. Not 1, 2 Tonys, yes. And on a completely shallow note, I have to say, Miss Viola, your hair in every iteration gives me life everlasting.
Oh, thank you.
So I want to start out because we played some of your powerful speech where you talked about sort of the power of women, that women are accumulating. We're in this #MeToo moment. Maybe we're in the midst of it, maybe we're in the waning moments of it. Is it working? Do you see equality for women in Hollywood actually happening?
Yes. I do see a moment becoming a movement. I do see a conversation happening even in, I am a producer, and even in the producing realm, people are always looking for female-driven narratives. They're very conscious about hiring female directors. Women are much more aggressive out there in terms of getting what they want. It sort of started as very timid, the first woman who kind of spoke up about Weinstein. And then all of a sudden, now we're bold. We come on that red carpet, they're raising the defense fund for women, if they want to prosecute their predator, it's there for them. So I see all of that happening. I see women wanting to be the change that they want to see. Now, me, personally, I'm always aware because I was involved in the movement before it was a hashtag. I was involved with the Rape Treatment Center at UCLA that Gayla Barbanel is the head of. She has been the head for 30, 40 years. And what I always want to reiterate to people is the personal aspects of sexual assault. I mean, I understand, I truly do. Listen, I'm an actress. I want my Sophie's Choice. I want to be in a great John Ford movie. I'm like, I want to be the black girl who is, accepting her 3rd, 4th Oscar. I sometimes, I have those visions, I have those dreams. But I really want to reiterate to people that I don't want what's going on in Hollywood to just be sort of a metaphor for what the movement is.
Yeah.
That once that sexual assault happens, women always say that's the day that they died. And that trauma escalates into side effects that are life-changing. The body dysmorphic issues, the suicide, the addiction. You could go into any prison in this country, and I guarantee you could trace it all back to sexual assault. And that little girl, that 15, 16-year-old girl who's being pimped out on the street and trafficked, I don't know, in Detroit or Chicago, who has been banged by 20 guys and pimped out, you know, that's the girl I'm always focused on. Bringing her from the time she's traumatized to getting that rape kit, to healing, to becoming a survivor, and to becoming an overcomer. And that's what we have to focus on. That's the impact. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like we have 324 million people in this country. 51% are women. And trust me, when one is traumatized and it escalates into rage issues, incarceration, all kinds of things. That to me is the power. That's a sweet spot. It's not just about an actress wanting to promote a career. Right. It really isn't.
Yeah. So, I mean, give my profession a little advice. What are we doing? Because I don't feel like we're telling the stories that way. I feel like it's such a traumatic subject. Mm-hmm. It's so complicated. We're missing the trauma and just telling the story of when that same young woman offends. And when she somehow goes down the wrong path, we just hit at that moment. What are we doing wrong in terms of telling these stories? And can you tell them to a public that still can't handle the subject of sexual assault and rape?
Well, you know what? When we go to see movies and, you know, plays are a little different, we want our buttered popcorn and Diet Coke and Sour Patch Kids. Mm-hmm. We want to escape.
Yeah.
We really do. There's not a whole lot of laughs in truth sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the famous saying in The Few Good Men, truth, you don't want to handle the truth. Mm-hmm. You know, I happen to feel that whenever anyone comes into any kind of experience, I know for me, that's why I became an actor.
Yeah.
I became an actor, just like Arthur Miller said when he started writing, he wrote because he wanted people to feel less alone. He wanted people to recognize themselves on that screen, on that stage. And often, too often, we water it down to make it palpable for you. You know, we do it even on social media. Facebook is a place where everybody is the greatest mother, you know, the greatest wife, the greatest parent. Nobody's kid ever gets anything less than a straight A. You know, all of our 7-year-olds are well-behaved. You know, they never say a bad word. They never cuss. We don't expose them to anything. And we know that's not the truth. We're in the age that we don't want to connect. We don't want to connect to anything. You know, and it's almost like it's going to wake us up and it's going to force us to see someone that maybe we hate like we see ourselves. You know, it's a famous James Baldwin quote that says, you know, we're so afraid that if we give up our hate and that once the hate is gone, that what's left is pain. And that's what's missing from the story. It's like, you know, it's not sexy to see, I don't know, a beautiful woman on screen who literally wakes up and, I don't know, doesn't maybe want to have sex and doesn't walk around in high heels and is actually not your fantasy, has actually been sexually assaulted. Actually, every time she has sex with you, she feels a great deal of pain. She has post-traumatic stress disorder. That's not sexy. That demographic of the 18, 34-year-old man is going to say, okay, I'm not going to pay $15 to see that.
Yeah.
She has to be what I envision in my head.
Yeah.
We've churned it out, and it's affected everything.
Yeah. I feel like one of the things that makes you special as a performer is that you're able to show a complete woman, right? You can do the glamour, obviously, but you can also tell the pain. You can tell the stories of ordinary women in a way that humanizes them, particularly for Black women. That's not easy to do. Yeah. And you said something, the first time I got a chance to meet you was also at Women of the World in LA. And you said something that really stuck with me, and I think stuck with everyone who was in that room. I think everyone gasped. I was in the audience, and I think I heard everyone go, because you said that you, triple threat, award-winning Viola Davis, who we all look up to, who's an idol to people like me, that you, at this stage in your career, still struggle to be seen as something other than the Black Meryl Streep, which I found shocking and disheartening. Can you talk a little bit about how can that be in 2018?
There's not enough time. There really isn't. Listen, this is my opinion. Jim Crow did a job on us. It did. Slavery happened, and then Jim Crow happened, 18th century, post, Reconstruction slavery. And what happened is, with the policies that were set forth, that kept us basically in bondage again, what happened is the signs went away, but what is left is perception. What's left is a mindset. So when you have, I don't know, say me coming in as someone's love interest, it doesn't compute. Because no one thinks I'm pretty. No one thinks a black woman who's darker than a paper bag is pretty. They don't think she's sexual. They find her more mannish. They associate her probably more with a man, more earthy, more soulful, more sassy. I see you more with an apron than I do see you naked rolling around in bed with someone. Because that is the American mindset. And what it's done is it's seeped into art. Listen, that's why Black Panther was a phenomenon. And now all these black actors and artists in Hollywood is trying to jump on that chain and saying, finally, okay, you see, we can open a movie. You see, people actually want to see us. You're just not seen the same way as viable, okay? And so therefore, when you look at any studio that's in Hollywood, if you look at all of the scripts that they're developing, and they could be developing 20, 30, 40, 200 scripts, 98% of them are predominantly Caucasian. Now, if you told them that, they wouldn't be aware of it. Yep. It's just built into our mindset. It's built into it. And, what do you do to change it? I mean, I don't know. I feel like once you have the baton, what you have to do is you just have to make bold choices and you just have to risk it. Yeah. Or not. Mm-hmm. But, as an actor of color, you're not getting paid the same way. You're not seen the same way. Literally, here's the thing. If you had Julianne Moore walk on stage and gave a great monologue, and then you had me come on stage and give the same monologue in the same way, are you going to see it the same?
Well, no, because your experience that you're bringing to that monologue, your biography, changes that monologue. And I think there's value, and this is what puzzles me about Hollywood, is that if you and Julianne Moore did the same monologue, they would be absolutely different because you would be bringing a different ethos, a different woman is doing that monologue, and there's value in that. And there's absolutely an audience for the Viola Davis version of that monologue. That's what I don't understand why they don't see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and listen, do I believe that all of that is changing? Absolutely. I mean, with the success of Get Out, and now I think this coming year you have Barry Jenkins in If Beale Street Could Talk, the James Baldwin, you have Spike Lee in Black Klansman, you have Steve McQueen in the movie that I did called Widows. I'm now absolutely being seen this way. After 30 years in the business, at 52, you stay in the line long enough and people do see you differently if you scream loud enough.
One of the things I think is interesting, and I've seen it with yourself and other major movie actors and actresses, is that television has sort of blossomed lately in allowing that dexterity and allowing people to have that range. I'm playing this out of order, and I apologize to the producers, but there's a clip from How to Get Away with Murder that still, and I do binge watch TGIT. Yes, my DVR is entirely full of TGIT. But there was a moment in How to Get Away with Murder that stuck with me and I think stuck with the world because you literally revealed your character without all of the decoration to show who she is inside. That Annalise Keating, who's this glamorous, together, powerful lawyer, is also this vulnerable woman who, look, as black women, if you home, the wig is not staying on while you go to bed. You're not leaving everything is not staying everything, right? And that's white women too. Y'all wear wigs too.
And retainers.
Okay. Yes, y'all have clip-ins. We all know what it's about. But I mean, but you revealed it, and it was so unexpected.
Yes.
Because most of the time, actresses don't want to give up the glam.
Absolutely.
And you did it. So I want to play that if you guys are ready. Let's play that clip.
Why is your penis on a dead girl's phone?
Why is your penis on a dead girl's phone? That's going in some kind of TV archive somewhere. Tell me about that choice to do that.
That was an actor's choice. Most people don't understand what it means to be an actor. An actor has to create a human being. It's not about vanity. The minute you come onto a screen and you're worried about your wig and your makeup, vanity has no place in acting. It doesn't. It literally doesn't. When you go to acting school, that's the one thing they say you've got to leave at the door, okay? And the reason why I made that choice is because I did not want to be another woman on television that came in walking like a supermodel, who whittled down to a size 2, which I've never been since I was born, you know, and who had, you know, flawless makeup and who was described as sociopathic and cold, but you didn't know why. It's like Sanford Meisner, the greatest acting teacher, said that's the most important question that an actor can ask, is why? Mm-hmm. We are in the business of creating human beings, of finding out what makes you tick. The psychological pathology. Pathology is a study of tumors. Acting is a study of what is your tumor? What's that nucleus? And in order to do that, I felt like if I took that wig off, and if I took the eyelashes off or whatever, then if I were to do this show for 7 years, which it looks like I may be, then what it's going to force the writer to do is write the woman. Mm-hmm. They're going to write the woman. And I know women. I'm sorry, not every woman who's sexual is a size 2. Not every woman who's sexual is walking like a supermodel. And not every woman who's sexual is lighter than a paper bag. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I'm proof positive of that.
Yeah.
Now, my biggest hurdle now, if I were to be so bold to say, is for actors of color especially, there is a need for us to be didactic. And I don't like that. What I mean by that is that every time we're on screen and every time we make a choice, then the next question is, so what did that mean? So what social statement were you making? There is no social statement. The social statement is just me. It's me in that moment. It's me in that one moment where, I don't know, I'm sitting on stage with Joy Reid and it may be a flash across my eyes that is like, am I really here? Those human moments, you know, where 1 minute you're laughing hysterically and the next you're thinking about the time your father died. Those moments that absolutely make us human. What I find is so many of our stories, if there's not a big social message, there is no value. Mm-hmm. That writer, who is a writer of color, who just says, like my daughter says every single night, I tell her stories all the time, and every single time she says, Mommy, put me in the story. I said, well, okay, Genesis. She said, no, I want to be that one. I want to be the one that kills the dragon, Mommy. Make it me, make it me. Is that sometimes we just want to tell a story.
Yeah.
That's it. We just want to be. Mm-hmm. You know, we don't always want to go up against the KKK and do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't always want to come in and be, you know what, you think that I'm just, you know, a housewife, but I'm really God, you know? No, I just want to be the housewife.
Yeah.
I think that there's power in that.
Absolutely.
Because I think that's what's happened to us throughout history is the dehumanization of us has made it possible for us to be hated. So now the stigma is to just humanize us. That's the beauty of art. That's my next hurdle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we need to see, I mean, the whole controversy over Roseanne, but the sort of beauty of what they were able to do is that they can just show an ordinary white family.
An ordinary, well, and we have to be okay with that too.
Yeah.
We have to be okay with being ordinary. It's one of the reasons why I gave that speech, which
Yeah.
I know that people kind of had an aversion to. But I'm sorry, when people come up to me and say, what story do you want to tell? Do you want to tell the story of the first black female pilot?
Yeah.
Who I love, by the way, I read that book. But do you want to tell the story of, you know, the first woman who, I don't know, blew up a town hall in Tulsa, Oklahoma? It's like, I don't know. It's those bodies that are in the grave that went to the grave, like my father. He has a ton of stories.
Yeah. Can we show little girl Viola? Can we get that picture up
Oh
there?
my God.
We're gonna show her. There she is. So cute. What did that little girl teach you that allows you to excavate the stories that you're able to do?
You know what? It's only now that people ask me that all the time. I'm always thinking, I'm going back to heal that little girl. I'm going to reach back and pull her up, give her a meal, all of that. But now people are always saying, well, can you allow that little girl to hug you?
Yeah.
To kind of look at you and go, wow, is this what I'm going to become? You know what? She is allowing me to enjoy what I do. And that's sometimes hard. You know, I was just watching a documentary on Martin Luther King, and they said that Andrew Young was saying that before he died, really at the height of the nonviolence movement, he had a tic.
Yeah.
And the tic came and went. And then one day it just went away. And he said, Martin, what happened to the tic, you know? And he said, oh, well, it just went away because I made peace with death, you know? Now, I think that's Martin Luther King. But whenever you reach a high level, the weight of the responsibility can kill the joy.
Yeah.
It really can. Because it makes you step outside of what you do, and it makes you feel like you're always sort of not in it. That you're judging it before you have even started it. You know, that you spend so much time doing this, it's like spending all your time cooking at Thanksgiving,
Yep.
and then when it comes time for you to eat, you'll have no appetite.
Yep.
That's what it feels like. You spend so much time doing the speeches, so much time doing the interviews, so much time with the microphone in your face saying, okay, what does it feel like being a black woman in Hollywood, blah, 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 blah. And then you get to the set and you're like, ugh. But she makes me remember that I love it. I love disappearing.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
what was your most joyful experience as an actress? If you had to pick one of the many things that you've done.
You know what? Noodle Doodle Box.
Noodle Doodle Box. Explain.
I did a play called Noodle Doodle Box with my sister Dolores. We did a play together because the head of our drama department at Central Falls High School had no time to work on our entry to the Rhode Island State Drama Festival. It's a competition of plays in Rhode Island. So he just left us in a room. He said, pick a play. I don't care whatever play. Direct it, produce it, do everything. And we did.
Yeah.
And we went home every day and rehearsed it. And we made our own costumes. And we built the set ourselves. And we laughed. And we cried. And we hugged. And it was, you know, they say that acting, the stage and the set is a sacred place. And it's sacred because whatever happens there is not judged at all. You can have your shit, your piss, your mess, your joy, everything, and it's just celebrated. You just leave it all on the floor. And the more you leave it on the floor, with the least amount of just not even holding back, the more celebrated it is. Mm-hmm. And what happens with that is another sacred thing, which is you're sort of healed from a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened with Noodle Doodle Box. Even though it was a children's play about friendship, but through the journey of leaving it all on the floor, just exploring everything in rehearsal, I mean rolling around together at times, messing up even, making mistakes, and then finally coming to that end point, which was the play, I got closer to my sister.
Yeah.
And for me, that's perfect. That doesn't always happen. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it just culminates into bad box office. You know?
I love that. I want to, we started out talking about women in power in the industry. So I want to leave Viola Davis, the actress, for a moment and go to Viola Davis, the producer. Because I think one of the disconnects is that when women want in to the business, in mm-hmm. quotes, they want in front of the camera. But there's so much power to be had in the suites, as it were. Mm-hmm. How can women find their way in to that inner sanctum? Do you have to already be Viola Davis to get in?
You sort of do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah, you do. I mean, yeah, we're running out of time, but yes, you do. You have to be Viola Davis in order to do it. You have to be Meryl Streep in order to do it. You have to be Julianne Moore in order to do it. It's once again, it's running a great relay race where every single runner is fantastic. That's how you have to see your life. You have to see your life as running your leg of the race and passing the baton on to someone who's able to run it the next leg of the race. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who drop it because they don't have the ability to hold on to it, okay? Because there's a lot of people in my profession who absolutely don't know what they're doing. They have no idea about dramatic structure. They have no idea what's good or what's bad. They have no idea even what to fight for. I mean, they would rather fight for the kind of outfit the woman is wearing in the scene than how the scene is written. Mm-mm. So my whole thing is like Shonda Rhimes said when she won the Norman Lear Award and she got that award and she held it up and she said, I deserve this award. Mm-hmm. I deserve it because when I walk into the room, I ask for what I want. That's the point you have to be at as a producer, to be able to walk in that room with the strength and conviction and understand that now you've risen to the point of significance. You've got the baton. What are you going to do with it?
Amen. I think that is a perfect note to end it on. Viola Davis, you are a marvel. The real live Wonder Woman. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Brilliant. Thank you.